What are you laughing at, Baba? Hi Sugarfoot, and welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about how to breastfeed, or the most effective way that I've found to breastfeed with larger nipples. I've done a lot of research, watched a bunch of videos, but they don't specify on nipple types because there's so many nipple types, and breastfeeding is not unanimous, or what am I saying? It's not universal for all nipples. So this is what I felt helped me the most. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell because I upload every week, okay? At least once a week. So getting started with breastfeeding was pretty difficult because of how large my nipples are. I didn't think he was gonna be able to breastfeed for a while because his mouth was just not wide enough. And the recommended technique for breastfeeding is to help them latch to where they get their whole mouth over your entire nipple and some of your boob, like some of your areola, or all of your areola, depending on how large it is. And he just couldn't do that. He could barely get my whole nipple in his mouth. So I wasn't sure how I was supposed to be doing that. And when we're in the hospital, the nurse is like trying to jam my whole nipple down his throat, and I felt bad because I'm like, what if he choked? What I will say that helped a lot was pumping, one. So in between breastfeeding him, I would pump, and I would also bottle feed because I just felt like he wasn't getting enough, which he wasn't. Or he was never getting a good latch to where he would be able to drink everything. He would like latch on and then let go, and right when he let go, it would just be milk spewing everywhere. That's another thing. My nipples are large, so the milk just comes out in a rush. It just sprays everywhere. And I also had piercings, so it comes out of those holes as well, which I did not know that was possible, but it does. So he was drowning. When he did get latch on, he was drowning in milk, and it was just too much for him. So what I started doing was pumping during the day and bottle feeding during the day, and then breastfeeding only at night. Because what he tended to do was, when he was latched onto my nipple, which wasn't really a good latch, when he did latch on, he would just guzzle down a bunch of milk and then right after just spit it up because it was too much. So it was either he wasn't getting enough because the latch wasn't good, or it was too much and he would have to pump and bottle feed during the day, breastfeed at night. Another thing that helped was nipple guards. So the nipple guards is really so that you don't have raw nipples from breastfeeding so often, but they also help with if you have large nipples. I found a nipple guard that actually covered my entire nipple, because the first one I had by Medela, it didn't cover my nipple. It didn't stay on. So I ordered another one from Sober Mom. I'm gonna link it somewhere, but I ordered another one and it covered my entire nipple. And when he started feeding from it, it kind of formed a suction around my nipple. It was pretty cool. It's pretty freaking cool. So it was easier for him to breastfeed using that. Another thing you should do is, so that you don't decrease your milk supply, when you're breastfeeding, if he finishes early or if he's not fully latching on, continue to pump out of that boob right after until all of the milk is drained, just so that your body doesn't respond to it as this is all he needs, or that's enough, and you start decreasing your milk supply. So the main things that helped were pumping during the day, breastfeeding at night, bottle feeding during the day. Right, Baba? And I had to find, that's another task, finding the right bottle for him. So at first I was using the Nano BB. I was calling it Nano BB for a long time. At first I was using the Nano BB because I like, one, the shape, and two, it heats up really fast. But with that bottle, it kept popping open and he was drinking it way too fast. He was drinking his milk way too fast. So I then ordered the Tippy Tommy bottles and ordered the slow feed Nipples to slow him down. And that stopped him from spitting up as much because he had to one, slow down his feeding, and I was able to burp him in between like every ounce or two. So look, this is a whole job in and of itself, okay? In and of itself, it's a whole job figuring out the best routine for you. But large nipples are a little bit different. And when I say I had milk just spewing everywhere, I mean when like my milk dropped in, it was a shower, a full-on shower, shirt soaked. It was just squirting everywhere. His face would be drenched in breast milk. It wasn't like 1 or 2, it was like 5 or 6 little sprouts coming out at one time, and I'm just like, this is too much. But the best thing you can do is pump. I can't emphasize this enough. Pump, okay? Pump and save up your milk, because there will be an eventual drop in supply. Well, for most people, there's an eventual drop in supply, and you want to have that milk on hand for them. Because I've had this drop in supply because I wasn't pumping as often as I should have, and it just, a lot was happening. Breastfeeding with large nipples. 1, pump during the day, in between feedings if you can, and pump until there's nothing left. 2, use a nipple guard. A nipple guard that covers your entire nipple. I'll link the nipple guard that I have that fit my nipple, which is a large nipple. It'll help with them feeding, and it'll prevent your nipple from chafing or splitting or cracking. And when you pump, okay, so I know pulling your boob, well, for me, pulling my boob out of the pump hurt. Like pulling my nipple out of the pump hurt, like rubbing against the plastic. So the best thing you can do is squeeze your boob and then pull it out. Squeeze and then pull. Don't just pull it off, because that hurts. And if they have a bad latch or you need to readjust their latch, don't just pull them off. You put your finger on their chin and pull down to like pop your nipple out. That way you're not pulling your nipple and you can cause chafing, cracking, just a lot of damage to your nipple. Don't do that. If they have a bad latch, you need to readjust them, pull their chin down, and then readjust them, and make sure that you get your entire nipple and some of your areola into their mouth. Because you need to have their full tongue directly under your nipple, so that way they put in enough pressure to pull the milk. It's just so weird, okay? First of all, me being a mom is weird. But yeah, those are my tips, okay? Those are my tips for breastfeeding with large nipples. And I made this video longer than it needs to be. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.